Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is Eugene, the African Kid. So today I'm going to talk about. First, let me not preamble what I'm going to say. So Africa, Africa, Africa. I've called Africa 3 times. We are one of the most blessed continents, and it's so sad that we as Africans, some of us are blind. We don't see that we are one of the most blessed continents in the world. Look, brothers and sisters, it is that time we take advantage of our country, we take advantage of our color, we take advantage of who we are, we are made from. We are Africans, and that's what makes us people who are unique in their own way. I want you to hear the confession of this white brother, what he is trying to say about Africa. And in reality, you will understand that what we are saying about Africa is true. I don't want to talk about much. Let's listen to what he says. It will make you believe that Africans, we are blessed people. Africans, we are not a joke. So listen to his confession and then let's come back and talk about it.
In 5 different countries in Africa. I've lived in Malawi, Botswana, Zambia, Morocco, and Nigeria. I've also traveled extensively in South Africa, Zimbabwe, Namibia, and Egypt. Never once in all my years of living or traveling on the African continent have I been mistreated in any way because of my ethnicity, because of my skin color. And this is in spite of the fact that I come from a country who are guilty for some of the worst colonial crimes ever inflicted throughout human history. That's right, I was born in Great Britain. And without doubt, the British and the French committed the greatest atrocities across the continent of Africa. The Belgians have a good claim for the greatest atrocity in their treatment of the Congolese, but if one looks at it as an entity and the number of countries that were invaded by the British and French colonialists, one will see that they are the worst protagonists. Despite this, and despite the behavior of my ancestors, I have never been mistreated. In fact, I have been welcomed warmly in all of the countries I have lived in or visited. And when in Africa, I don't cocoon myself in some enclave dome which is inhabited by people who like to refer to themselves as expats. I hate that term. But no, I integrate as much as possible within local society. I will go to a shebeen. I will go to any compound and experience life as it is for people in the country where I am based. So whether that's in the village, whether it's in the township, whether it's in the local bar, I will integrate, I will mix, and I am always made welcome. Now contrast that with the way many Africans are treated when they choose to live in the United Kingdom or France or other parts of Europe. The difference is incredible. The everyday racism experienced by African people on the European continent is a crime against humanity. Now, there are different types of racism. The most obvious is the day-to-day experience that an African will have whilst living in parts of Europe. The name calling, the staring, the subtle discrimination. And for many Africans, they will just brush it off because it is so common that they just get used to it, sadly. Worse, though, is the institutional and structural racism that Africans have to abide with. The restrictions on their movements, the fact that most passports emulating from the African continent will only allow Africans to travel visa-free to a handful of countries. And most of those will be other African countries or countries in the Caribbean. And moreover, the difficulty that Africans have finding work in Europe is unimaginable. People who are qualified as doctors, accountants, lawyers, university lecturers, nurses, teachers do not have their qualifications and experiences recognized by most European countries. I know many people from Africa working in various parts of Europe as security guards or as care assistants when back home they had highly skilled professional jobs. But that experience is rarely recognized when they come to Europe unless they come as part of a transfer with an existing company. But if they come because they've migrated to Europe, their chances of accessing the sort of job which they are eminently capable of is slim. Now, if a black person was making this video, they would be quickly dismissed. They'd be dismissed as having an axe to grind or always trying to find problems. And again, that's part of racism. The fact that I can speak because of my white privilege means that I have a duty to do so, not because I'm married to an African woman or because I have many African friends, but because I like to think I'm a decent human being who appreciates the value in every person on our...
Yes, Africa is the most welcoming continent in the world. If you think that I'm lying, tell me the continent that you think is kind. Tell me the continent that you think is the most welcoming in the comment section. If you think that I'm lying, if it's not Africa, let's see if you know a country, if you know a continent, which is the most welcoming, which is the most kind. Tell me what you think. But even if we are still the most welcoming continent, ironically, we are still one of the most looked down upon folks. Why? I'm also asking myself that question. Why are we still looked down upon, people as black people or as Africans or people with a black descent? Let me tell you one thing. Africans are one of the most kindest people. And some point, I know we might not agree, and some point, it is this, the act of kindness, it is this, the act of welcoming that has led to our downfall to some extent. Let me take you back to colonialism. How did colonizers come? They came as missionaries, they came as explorers, they came just like visitors. But due to our nature of kindness, we welcomed them. What happened after that? Our lands were taken. Our people are enslaved and taken to the United States in different parts of the world. Our women were raped. Yes, because of kindness. So what do you think about this? This is something which it is within us. And tell you what, even God Almighty himself gave us the challenges that we can fight. See, one of the most immune races, this is not being racist, but one of the most immune races is African. Africa as a race, we are one of the most immune races because of, I think God has just a way of paying his people. I don't say that other races doesn't belong to God, but what I'm saying that we are the most race which have suffered in human history. And even if we have suffered, we have still survived until date, Another reason as to why Africans were blessed, apart from given the immunity. Number two is, it is Africa only that has resources. We have natural resources where other continents that call themselves superpowers come to take our resources. That's just how we are blessed, you see. And I'm not bragging that they're taking our resources because some of them are stealing our resources. Yes, I've coined the word stealing our resources. So let's just think about this. Africans, we are one of the most welcoming people. And that's why I always wake up and preach. There's this only one thing which is remaining for us, why black people. It is unity. That's one thing that we lack amongst ourselves. I know we are divided like ethnic wise, we are divided, but again, we are one of the most blessed race. Tell you what, people say that the way our brothers confirmed, people say that when a black person goes to the United States or an African goes to the United States, the treatment is different. The way we are treated there is different as the way we treat them here. Because generally, for the love of God, we are people who are welcoming, and innocently we love visitors. Some of them bring us problems, some of them bring us blessings. I like looking things in the positive way and the negative way. Last month, Mr. Beast came to Kenya, came to Uganda, and I've forgotten the next country that he built a number of wells. That's positive, you see. Yes, we also have white people who come to Africa and also help Africa. We also have those people who come to Africa and destroy Africa. So, why Africa? They say that Africa, we are one of the most, I don't want to say poorest, but we are still developing, countries. The other day, my lecturer said that I should not call Africa as as a third world country, which is true. I learned from him. I learned from her. See, Africans, we are so blessed, and it is this time that you need to take an opportunity to be proud of your color. Remember, another reason as to why Africa is one of the most blessed continents. Africa is the origin of mankind. That's the fourth reason as to why Africa is one of the most, not one of the most, Africa is the continent which is the most blessed. So, majority of humanity started in Africa. That's where humanity started. It is in Africa where we have the Ubuntu spirit. I am because you are because I am. It is only in Africa where we have such kind of philosophies. Tell me which other continent has such of philosophies, because that's where humanity started, and humanity is looking upon your brother, looking if there's something wrong with them, doing what you love for a person to do to you as a person. So that is why Africa, that is why Africa, and that is why Africa will remain one of the most blessed continents in the world. We are having trouble in paradise. Yes, Africa is the paradise, because every person in other continents, tell you what, after watching this video, go try do some research. Every people from the other continent, their bucket list is always, majority of the people, their bucket list is always coming to visit Africa at some point of their life. That's what has been their dream. And some even come and, find love, find their purpose in Africa. Africa is the healer of all other nations. And I'll tell you this as a matter of fact. I rarely post such kind of content, but I feel like it's important, and we've been looked down upon. I mean, as the brother was saying, if you go to those countries, they treat you like you're not human being. Thank God they are reducing with I can say that the tendencies are reducing, but again, Africans, we are blessed. This is Eugene, the African Kid. If you're watching this video for the first time, kindly consider subscribing to this channel. Reach me 1,000 subscribers, and I highly appreciate you. Thank you, guys. Until then, peace, love, and harmony. Salute.